Alright y'all, welcome back to Combat Arms channel. Alright, so previously we checked out the Norwegian Army's restart technique, which is kind of like a technique that they were using to deal with combat stress right there as it's happening. And I gotta say, it was pretty cool to check out. Coming from my background in the US Marine Corps Infantry and then also the US Army Infantry, that has never been taught to us. Any sort of technique like that, nothing like that was taught to us. So it's kind of surprising. I mean, it is kind of like a disservice that, you know, our troops, our infantry troops especially, aren't getting the right stuff or the right techniques to deal with things that could definitely happen to them whenever they're going out and doing their job. But I actually got sent this video. So this is actually from the US Army side. So this is the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research. And this is their iCOVER technique. Now this is a little over 11 minutes long, so I think it should give us a pretty comprehensive view of how to actually implement this technique. So let's check it out. Oh yeah, and if the quality is anything like the other video, then it's going to be good. Yeah, even the term acute stress reaction is not one that I was familiar with previously. Alright, yep, so we got a scenario going on.
Clear left, clear right.
Looks pretty recent.
Stack on me. Lopez, door.
Okay, I know I'm trying to get out of the mindset of, like, you know, criticizing and critiquing the CQB tactics and whatnot, but I am checking out the gear, and I gotta say, it's pretty cool. Yeah, so this is definitely a little bit more recent. You can see they're wearing, I think it's OCP. I'm not sure if it's multi-cam or not, but yeah, it looks pretty recent. Now, in this type of environment, it is very, very stressful because you have very little time to react to things. You're seeing things for the first time. You're trying to game plan it as you're seeing it. It's very stressful, and when things actually start kicking off, it makes it that much worse because the cacophony of sounds and smells and whatnot really start to overwhelm you sometimes.
Stairwell front.
Dang, they're just getting it. What is that?
Keep moving. Move.
I thought that was blood. Well, they're setting the stage. I like it. It's really dark. They need flashlights or something. I think he does have a flashlight. What was that? It makes it look more dramatic, though.
Folding! Folding!
Damn, dude.
Medic! Medic! Medic!
Okay, this is interesting. This is even more like sort of stressful because when you're inside an enclosure, you're expecting the threat to, you know, emerge from inside of the building or like an adjacent room or a hallway or something. But when you start getting shot at from outside of the building, you sort of like, you're not really focused on that. You're kind of tunnel vision on everything inside. So when something outside starts affecting you, yeah, it's gonna mess with you for sure.
Get up! What the hell's wrong with you?
Alright. So I guess it's gonna be an acronym as well. Acronyms always work pretty well in the military.
Stress. For the combat soldier, stress is a constant.
Nice. Okay, I mentioned the Cooper's color codes every now and again, but I like how they threw it in this video. I've never seen the Army actually reference the Cooper color code, so it's kind of cool.
Companion. Stress can occur at varying levels of intensity. The more stress you have, the more your body needs to be activated. Under conditions of significant threat, your body prioritizes responding to the threat and directs your resources to engage that threat.
Yep.
The more we get activated, the more we experience the signs of stress. These include a queasy stomach, dry mouth, racing heart rate, sweating, and feeling shaky.
That dry mouth for sure.
As we progress through the yellow, orange, and red phases of activation, our signs of stress intensify. This activation is critical for optimal performance. In combat, stress occurs in a physically and mentally taxing context. Sudden loud noises, disturbing images, bad smells, extreme temperatures, lack of sleep, prolonged and repeated waiting, uncertainty, And
Okay.
throughout, there is a constant threat.
The waiting and uncertainty is kind of interesting. I've never seen that actually be implemented in a sort of combat stress video, but that's very, very true. Because you might be sort of chilling in the yellow for an extended period of time because you kind of understand that there's a potential threat out there. But when something actually starts happening, all of a sudden you jump up into the red, and that takes a lot out of you right there. Now, the uncertainty, that's something that's just going to be constantly taxing your mind because you know that there's uncertainty in the back of your mind. There's that threat out there. You're not really sure what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes sometimes. But yeah, the loud noises, disturbing images, handling these things at a time, like one at a time is one thing. But when everything starts coming together, then yeah, again, it's like that cacophony of sounds and smells and everything just come together, and it makes it really, really hard to deal with.
In this context, there may be times when a service member gets activation overload. When this happens, they shut down. This is called acute stress reaction. Instead of decisive and productive performance, their responses become uncontrolled, unfocused, and dysfunctional. So what can be done to get your battle buddy back into action?
So I imagine that's pretty much the same as shell shock, but I'm not exactly sure if like the medical term is actually separate, but that's kind of how a lot of people would probably attribute it to. So let's see how they actually implement all of it.
Understanding what happens to someone's brain during an acute stress reaction provides clues about how you can get them back into action. Normally, during an intensely stressful situation like combat, your body goes into fight or flight mode, allowing you to make quick, effective decisions to ensure your survival.
Nice editing.
In order to think fast, the areas of your brain responsible for deliberate thinking, your prefrontal cortex, move out of the way. This thinking area takes a back seat, and other parts of the brain take the lead. The parts reserved for our survival instincts and core emotions.
That's kind of cool.
Sometimes the activation levels get severe and result in an acute stress reaction. The brain is essentially hijacked by the emotion part of the brain called the amygdala. When the amygdala is in control and no input from the logical, thinking brain, the person becomes extremely emotional, fearful, and dysfunctional.
This is super cool. I know from the general infantry perspective, you probably wouldn't care so much about this, but I find this like super interesting to actually understand what is actually going on in someone's mind. Sort of allows you to tailor your approach, because the very military approach is to, sort of try and instill that order and discipline. And when that's not working, then you need to try a different approach. So this is kind of cool.
Possibly putting the unit in danger. Your job is to help your buddy's thinking part of their brain take back control from the amygdala. Trying to shake or shout the person out of an amygdala hijacking doesn't work because the person is already overloaded. Shaking or shouting just overloads them more. On the flip side, engagement with gentle words or talking about their emotional state won't help them either, since focusing on emotions doesn't prompt the thinking part of the brain to reassert control.
Interesting.
The key is to get the thinking part of the brain back into action.
All right, so let's see how they do it. The camelback looks awfully empty.
Boulder! Boulder! Hold on! Medic! Medic! Medic!
Yeah, where are all the support guys?
Kirk, get up! What the hell's wrong with you? Sergeant! We're back here! Police, they're right here. Are you hit?
2 coming in!
There we go.
Rooftop to the north! Capaldi got hit! I don't know what's wrong with him, he just froze up! Kirk!
Let's probably pull some security.
T-Rex 4, contact, rooftop to the north.
T-Rex.
What the hell you doing on the floor? McGurk, if you're hit, tell me!
Lopez, what's going on?
How the hell should I know? He ain't bleeding! Stay in there with me, man. McGurk! Step out of it!
I got this. Cover that window.
There we go. Hell yeah, that's squad leader. Good stuff. Yeah.
McGurk, can you hear me? Look at me. Hey, I'm right here. Look at me. I'm squeezing your shoulder. Squeeze mine back. Good. McGurk, I'm right here with you. All right, I'm not going anywhere. You're not alone. Okay, now listen to me. What platoon are you in? Hey, what platoon are you in?
So after watching that Norwegian restart video, I'm trying to identify some of the steps that they're actually utilizing for everything. So we can see here, he's touching. So that's nice because now you're activating more senses because, you know, if you're trying to rely on sight or, you know, hearing, you're going to have that auditory exclusion. You're going to have that tunnel vision. So actually like activating more senses to get someone back into thinking about what's going on, then that's a good way to do it.
First,
Who are you in here with?
Garza. And Capaldi.
Who's your commander?
Captain West.
Lopez, cease fire! Copy that. McGurk, stay with me.
Good acting, I'll say
Situation.
that much.
We were in the building and we took incoming. Taking care of the injured right now. We need to cover these windows. Copy?
Just to get that IFAC going. What's
Grab
going
your
on?
weapon, get up, and cover. Come on, let's go.
All right. Hell yeah.
Lopez, keep an eye on him.
Now, as far as the similarities we're seeing with this and the restart video, it's my understanding that restarts was sort of based on this technique as well, and also other research done with the Israeli military.
Battle Buddy back into action after an acute stress reaction requires 6 steps.
All right,
These
let's hear
steps
him.
take less than a minute and are designed to stop the amygdala hijack and get your battle buddy back in control.
Amygdala hijack, I like that.
First, identify that your battle buddy is having an acute stress reaction. Second, connect to them and get them to focus their attention on you. Third, offer commitment so you can break through their detachment.
Okay.
Fourth, verify facts by asking for simple details. This gets them focused on the present moment.
Yeah.
Fifth,
That's a good way to do
establish
it. I like
order
that.
of events in order to orient them. And finally, request action so they are focused on the next immediate step.
Yep. Okay.
When you use iCOVER, move swiftly through each step. Avoid emotional or calming language, keeping your voice clear and confident. Review the engagement.
Yeah, that's something I would imagine a lot of people would fall back to, that sort of emotional or calming language. In the military, you're probably going to, you know, yell at someone, and if that doesn't work, you might move to this. But again, it's cool how they're talking about how that's not necessarily going to be as effective in, you know, regaining control of that amygdala hijacking.
First, identify the problem. The key sign is the person is not functioning. They may be frozen, disoriented, or agitated, but the common denominator is that they have functionally collapsed.
I think that'd be pretty obvious to identify.
Second, connect. You might find the soldier facing downward or covering their face. This position increases feelings of helplessness. So when you try to connect, be sure to touch, then speak. A 3-prong approach is best. Touch, speak, and make eye contact. Seek
Okay.
response.
Nice.
McGurk! McGurk, can you hear me?
That
Look at
makes
me.
sense.
Hey, I'm right here. Look at me.
Again,
Squeeze
trying to
your shoulder.
identify and
Squeeze my back.
sort of focus on all those senses.
Good, good.
Third, offer commitment. So they know they're not alone and that you are there with them.
McGurk, I'm right here with you. All right, I'm not going anywhere. You're not alone.
Fourth, verify facts. Asking 2 to 3 short, fact-based questions. Don't ask about their feelings or anything complicated. Your goal is to get them
Complicated.
to focus on the present moment.
That is complicated
Now
in the
listen.
military.
What platoon are you in? Hey, what platoon are you in?
First,
Who are you in here with?
Garza. And Capaldi.
Who's your commander?
I like how they break it down step by
Captain
step
West.
too. It's cool.
Fifth, establish the order of events. Basically, the goal of this step is to help get them oriented to the situation. Confirm the chronology of events in 3 simple sentences. What happened, what is happening, and what will happen.
All right, here's the situation. We were in the building and we took oncoming.
That's definitely a good way to sort of
Taking
focus
care of the
back
injured
on that
right now.
military
We need
sort
to
of
cover these
awareness.
windows. Copy?
Because he starts thinking, okay,
And
now what do I
sixth,
need to do? What can I
request
do?
Action. Give a specific mission-related task that can be immediately accomplished. This will help them get back in gear.
Grab your weapon, get up, and cover.
Yeah, so when you get them thinking about it and then you
Let's go.
tell them to do something, it's kind of like a joint collaboration effort of, yeah, okay, maybe I should start
Lopez.
doing this.
Keep an eye on him.
iCOVER works because it cuts through the amygdala hijacking and gets the prefrontal cortex back into action. Remember to move swiftly through each step and keep your voice clear and confident. 1. Identify. 2. Connect. 3. Offer commitment. 4. Verify facts. 5.
Again, it's like an
establish
easy thing
order
you
of
can just
events.
have like in your pocket
6.
if you really need
Request
to.
action. With iCOVER,
But it was not
you've
taught
got
to us.
their 6.
All right. Good stuff. Again, the quality was awesome, and that definitely helps. When you have a realistic sort of video, you can envision yourself, especially as an infantryman, in situations where this might have happened, or it did happen, or it could have happened. So it's nice having that nice sort of realistic setting for this kind of video. And again, the acting does help as well, because sometimes in the military, you'll be forced to watch some videos and the acting just isn't very good, or like the gear isn't like persuasive, and you're kind of just like, you're immediately sort of judgmental and kind of skeptical. But when it actually looks good and it sounds good and everything sort of checks out, then you can start focusing more on the context. Because again, that's just infantry brain. You're going to be very like sort of jaded and cynical about certain things. So when everything else checks out, it's a lot easier to focus on the actual content. But yeah, again, another fantastic video. I will link this one down in the video description so you guys can check it out. But yeah, it's a great tool if you guys are sort of combat arms, or you might be in a position that you might need to utilize something like this, not even necessarily like in the military or combat related. You know, it's a nice thing to sort of know. Even like some of the steps, you might not necessarily remember every single step, but if you can remember some of the steps or sort of how to, you know, sort of go through certain things or things to avoid, it can definitely help you out in a rough spot. So definitely a solid video. Again, a very solid recommendation. So I do appreciate y'all sending the videos and whatnot. So if you have anything similar to this to recommend, definitely throw it down below. I know I got an older one. I think it was from the 60s about sort of like combat stress. So I might check that out at some point. But thank you guys again for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. That's it for this video. I'll see you on the next one.